the Gay Classic Car Group at the NEC Classic Car Show, and I'm talking to Matt Kershaw, who has probably got the car of the show. Certainly for Classic.Retro.Modern readers, probably the car of the show. It's this amazing Renault Fuego. I think it's one of two, because somebody told me there is another one at the event.
There is. Yep, on the Renault stand, on the Renault Owners Club stand.
Okay.
Yes.
But obviously not as fabulous as this one.
I'd like to think so.
Nothing's as fabulous as this one. How long have you owned it?
I've bought the car in September last year, so I've owned it for just over a year.
And why did you buy it? How did it come about? Yeah, how mad are you?
Well, it was one of those cars, you're sitting going through Car and Classic, and you think, when the hell was the last time I saw one of those? When I was a kid, I thought this was one of the most stylish cars on the road. Stupid as it sounds now.
It still is the most stylish car on the road.
And I thought, I'll never get another opportunity to buy one. Went to look at it. It was one old boy that had bought it as an ex-demonstrator back in 1983. And he'd used it literally just as a high days and holidays car. So it's only done just over 40,000 miles now. He'd owned it, it was his absolute pride and joy, so he maintained it meticulously. And of course when I saw it I thought, well, I have to have it.
So you didn't go out looking for one of these, it just cropped up in the classifieds, you thought, I've got to have it?
To be honest with you, I think if I'd gone out looking for a Fuego, I'd have been very disappointed for a long number of years.
Yeah, I can't imagine that many come up. Do you know how many of them are in the UK?
When I bought the car, I joined the Owners Consortium on Facebook. They're pretty good at logging where the Fuegos are. I think they say there's about 30 left in the UK.
In the UK, okay.
But how many of those are running?
And are those UK right-hand drive cars?
Not all UK right-hand drive cars.
So some have been imported?
No, yes.
So this came with a full history?
Well, as I say, the old guy kept everything, every little bit of paper.
And did it need anything doing?
No. I mean, it had been off the road since 2013. The gentleman hadn't driven since 2013, so it needed the usual recommissioning, you know. We've gone through a few issues on shakedown like you normally would with a car like that, but generally it's very, very solid mechanically. I mean, anybody that knows Fuegos know that it's one of the most notorious cars for rusting. The metal on them is incredibly thin, but this is absolutely solid.
It is amazing how many conversations I've had at the show this weekend where everyone claims that their car is the one that's notorious for rusting and that they've all dissolved. There did seem to be a lot of water-soluble metal around in the 70s and the 80s.
Well, the metal used on this was very, very thin. Yeah. Renault kind of pioneered that to get the better performance and economy balance, but in the long run it didn't do their cars much good.
Well for them.
Yes.
I'm loving the sliding cloth sunroof. Is that normal? Or is that really rare?
That is a factory fitted option. So the original owner specified that from the factory, but I love that. I think that just makes the car.
Do you know how common a fitment it is?
Well, funnily enough, the other Fuego at the show that we were talking about has it as well, but it's not a very common fitment. It was expensive at the time. I don't quite know how much it was.
Is there anything special about this model? What model is it?
This model is a GTS, right? So it had the 1650cc engine, which is 96 bhp, which for a 1600 wasn't bad going in the early 1980s. But the great bit about the GTS is it comes with all the luxury bits and bobs. So for instance, it's got the PLIP remote central locking, and I believe it was the first car to feature that.
I think the Fuego was the first car with the remote central
That's right,
locking.
yes. Yeah. And you also get the electric windows, 5-speed gearbox, you know, features like that. So
I'm assuming it's very much a toy that will come out only occasionally.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, in deference to the old gentleman that owned it before, I want to keep it exactly
and also
as he
the
left
fact that you don't want to see it dissolve in front of your eyes.
Exactly.
I guess you've had it rust-proofed.
No, but fortunately, because the gentleman that had it before was so thorough, he had it fully rust-proof from new and kept up to it. So, yeah.
Well, I reckon it's car of the show, and I know the car of the show has been awarded, and not to this, which just goes to show that there is no justice.